I put together the greatest what ifs Hall of Fame potential for each MLB team. And some of them are obvious. Some of them I tried to think outside of the box a little bit, and not go with the ones that everybody talks about all the time. So I want you guys to chime in here, and here we go. So first one, I think we always talk about this one. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Boston Red Sox is Tony Conigliaro. Tony Conigliaro, sorry. 104 home runs in his first 3.5 seasons before getting hit in the eye in the pitch, 1967. He was an all-star that year and then got hit, decided to retire at age 26, tried to make the comeback, just never the same. This was going to be Boston's next legend. Would he have made the Hall of Fame if he had a full career?
I mean, I tend to believe yes. I tend to believe Conigliaro was on a trajectory to be at least the greatest shortstop in franchise history, if not, one of the better shortstop of his entire era. I mean, 104 home runs in 3.5 seasons back in the 60s. I mean, that's out of the shortstop position. Nobody was doing that.
No.
He was a unicorn for that era of baseball and at that position. And if not for that one pitch, the one pitch that changed everything, I think this is a guy that we are talking about as at least the greatest shortstop in franchise history, if not one of the greatest of his era.
If not all time.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's in that conversation.
Yeah. The talent was undeniable. And the balls he hit out of the ballpark were not cheapies. These were tanks.
He was not a big dude either, but he had some serious pop.
Yes, he did.
And he could do it all. He was a good fielder. He had a good arm. He had speed. He also hit for an average. It wasn't just he wasn't a one-dimensional guy, but he he was the next big thing.
Yep. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the New York Yankees, Mark Teixeira. 409 career home runs, 268 batting average, 1,862 hits, 3-time All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves, 3-time Silver Slugger. It goes on and on and on. 2012 to 2016, he missed 344 games with a calf, a wrist, a hamstring, another wrist, and a knee. Would Mark Teixeira make the Hall of Fame with a full career?
I tend to say with Teixeira, he's probably still short. I think you're looking at a guy who's, probably got 2,100, 2,200 hits. He's probably at 460 home runs. He's probably still short, but he's close. And for a stretch there, Teixeira was one of, if not potentially the best first baseman in the game. He was a nightmare to face. Right-handed, left-handed, didn't matter. He was a nightmare. So I think he's in the Hall of Fame? No, but I think he's a lot closer. And at least the guy you kind of scratch your head and go, maybe.
Yeah, I was leaning more towards yes when I first did this. Because he was one of the best first basemen ever. Well, not ever, but in this era. I was leaning towards that for sure. But after kind of reading some comments and hearing what you're saying, I'm like, I don't know if he gets to that 500 threshold. Does he get to 450 in does he get 50 more home runs in 344 games? Maybe. But a lot of those games he was playing hurt as well. He was battling through stuff. So just tough. But I think with you, I think he would be ultimate borderline if he did get in. But I think Holla very, very good. Curtis is kind of with us. The injuries derailed everything. Holla very good though, if he wasn't.
And this is a great comparison for Mike. I do think that he kind of falls in that category with Delgado. He would end up in that range with Delgado, where it's he was really, really good, but just not quite good enough. And John Carter brings up a good point. Mattingly could be another guy you could play this game with for the Yankees because similar boat, career cut short.
Mm-hmm. And And Mattingly's always talked about. That's why I kind of left him off this one, and I wanted to go with somebody a little bit different.
Yep.
And Mark Teixeira kind of popped into my head. Aaron, hang on to that thought, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential. This one's a little bit different. Evan Longoria, 264 career average, 1,930 hits, 342 career homers, 1,150 RBIs. Now, if Longoria stayed as a Ray his entire career, do his numbers inflate enough to make him the first Hall of Famer wearing a Rays cap?
For Longoria, I still think the answer is no. I don't think he's going to hit any of those milestones. I don't think he'd have the hits. I don't think he'd have the home runs. The RBIs would be definitely higher, so that would be one to consider. But I don't think you get quite enough from Longoria in any scenario, in any case, to get him there.
Yeah, the only way I could actually maybe argue this is if he is a career Tampa Bay Ray. Now, third base is hard to get into the Hall of Fame. You have some third base studs, right, that are in. Brooks Robinson, Mike Schmidt. I mean, the list goes on and on. You got to be 500 homers. You got to be 1,500 RBIs. You got to be 3,000 hits or close to it. Longoria doesn't quite get there, so I think ultimately, yes, short. But with him being the first representation of the Rays in the Hall wearing a Rays cap, would that help with the voters?
I mean, I think he'd definitely have a better case. I think for sure. I think his case would improve. I just don't know that he gets to the level where it's like, yeah, he belongs in the Hall of Fame, but he's got a far more compelling case, no doubt.
Yeah, agree. All right. John Olerud, greatest what if Hall of Fame potential. 295 career average, 2,239 career hits, almost a 400 OBP, 58.1 career WAR, 1,230 RBIs. Now, my question is, if Olerud got his 400 batting average season in 93, would that have gotten him into the Hall?
Boy, John Olerud, as it stands right now, is like one of those borderline very good Hall of Fame guys. I mean, his 398 OBP is absurd. Guy scored over 1,100 runs, drove in over 1,200. 255 home runs, 295 batting average. Like, I think if he gets the 400 season, I think you're having a different conversation about John Olerud. This guy did everything. I mean, he's a 2-time All-Star. He won 2 rings. He won a batting title, 3 Gold Gloves. Like, yeah, I think you're having a much different conversation around Olerud if he owns a 400 season completely.
Yeah, I'm with you. Silic says I look at Olerud the same as Mark Grace. Yeah, at this moment right now. But what if he did hit the 400 season? I'm with Forrest. I think a guy who hits 400 even for one season should get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, 400 batting average is obscene. So, and Steve says Olerud is in for me, 25th in Jaws. Okay. Yeah, he should have pitched in the MLB also. Then he would have. Could have been a 2A player. Yeah, I think a 400 average does put Olerud over the hump here for me.
Yeah, I loved Olerud. Everything about his game I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Just the consistency, the calmness, everything looked easy. Everything just looked easy for him.
Yep.
And the numbers were always there.
Yeah.
So to me, he's a guy that like was always a borderline for me. But yeah, 400 season, done. Stamp it. Put him in.
Yep. Agree. What if Brian Roberts did not get injured? 276 career average, 1,527 hits, 5 seasons of 40 or more doubles. 3 of those were 50 or more. from 2010 to 2014, he missed 527 games out of a possible 810. A knee, concussion, hamstring, and then a hip surgery that finally does him in. Would Brian Roberts get more Hall of Fame consideration if he was healthy for that 810 game stretch?
Ooh. No, I don't think Brian Roberts is a Hall of Famer, but I do think he's a guy that would have a much different legacy left behind. I mean, he's a guy you kind of forget. He was unbelievable for a stretch of time. He had what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like seven seasons in a row in Baltimore where he was one of the best second basemen in the game, and then just disappeared due to
Mhm.
injury. I don't think it would have been enough to get him in the Hall of Fame being healthy, but he absolutely would have. He would be an Oriole that would be remembered well into the future. A guy that would be talked about for a long time.
See, I am, yes, he's in the Hall of Fame because he would have been the best second baseman of that era. No doubt, especially at the plate. I mean, cranking out doubles left and right like it's his job. I mean, 5 out of those 7 seasons, he hit 40 or more doubles. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, stop. The other guy I thought about here a lot is Nick Markakis, which we all love, but we talk about Markakis a lot. But this one was Brian Roberts had the potential to be the best second baseman of this era of his time and just got robbed with injuries. So I I think personally, you give him what's that, another 8 seasons ish? Well, 6.5 seasons probably.
Well, so 527. That's a little over 3 seasons.
Okay, you give him 50 more doubles, another 150 to 200 doubles in there. I mean, we're looking at some serious production.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I think he'd have. I mean, he's a guy who would have finished with probably about 2,000 hits, and I mean, he'd be at probably 500 doubles. Yeah, I mean, he would have. He'd be a guy that would probably be at like 350 steals. I think those are
mhm.
all great numbers. I just don't think any of them would be enough to get him in.
And that's fair. That's fair.
But I think he's a guy you look back on and be like, wow, that guy was really good. Like
Yeah.
he is Hall of Very good.
Okay. Fair. John says it's a no for me on Roberts. If the average was 300, then maybe. Right. Well, I mean, if his average is 300, then the hits, automatically would go up too. So I mean, that's fair. That's fair. For me, it's just if he hit that 500 double milestone, I mean, that's pretty unheard of for anybody really. Not to mention a second baseman.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
yeah.
For sure.